Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram and Etsy as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. It is the 17th of February. And I know it's the 17th of February because I woke up this morning with a massive start going, I should be in London. I had one of those awful panic dreams that I'd got the weekend for Stitch in London, the sample edition, wrong, and that I should be at that moment in time in London. And I wasn't. It was really quite scary. So I've just about calmed down from it from this morning, but it really was a huge, when you can be fast asleep to being upright and ready, sometimes within a matter of seconds. That's how it was. That's how it was this morning. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about Stitch in London, the sample edition, in a minute. I'm on a bit of a squeaky chair. Before we start, I just want to thank Pam and Steph for being their gold floss tuber this week, or last week as it was. I watched their episode and they did a silver floss tube for newer floss tubes. And they did, I'm going to have to write it across the bottom because the name escapes me as to who it was. And I thought, I started after them. And then when they actually said that I'd started in 2020, I was like, oh yeah, it was that long ago now. It doesn't seem like it whatsoever. So thank you very much to Pam and Steph. Right, what have we been up to today? Today we kind of celebrated Ness's birthday because actually, failure of a mother alert, next Friday when I'm travelling down to Stitch in London is actually her birthday. So we sort of celebrated this weekend. We went to Pizza Express and the cinema's right next door, so we went to see Migration. All I can say about that is I hope there's never a quiz on the first 20 minutes or so of that film. Because I don't know, I couldn't tell you what happened. It was dark, I was warm, I had a full belly. Therein is the tale it tells. So yeah, we did that today and we've got a few other things planned for her next week, during the week, and then she'll be with her dad next week, or next weekend while I'm at Stitch in London. So I think they've got things planned anyway. Right, let's see. I have got a very small amount of stitching that I can show you today. The rest that I've done this week has been preparation for Stitch in London. So let's just say next week when I'm at Stitch in London, I'm actually hoping to film a little floss tube. So I'll be able to show you all the things then. So just hang in there for that. I did a little bit more. There we go. Apart from the fact that I managed to have blended myself in with my stitching, this is Santa of the Forest. So now you can see much better the fabric and how the stitching looks on the fabric, and doesn't it look lovely? I've found the bottom. I know Santa's robes hang down a little bit below the bottom in a couple of places. I'll put a picture up of what it should look like. But the bottom there is the bottom of the woodland. So I found that. And he's looking fabulous. And as I said, I gave myself a couple more days on it after last weekend, and then I really had to prise it from my grip because otherwise I wouldn't have put it down. I would not have put it down. Pop him over there. I don't know when he'll get picked up again properly, but we'll see. So other things that I've got for you today. I've got a little bit of haul. I've got a couple of samplers to show you, one of which is a new acquisition, which I will be taking with me to Stitch in London next week. I have got also some more picks that are coming out at market. So I think I'm going to start with those and a usual freebie and all the jazz that you come to expect. So let me just grab my hastily written notes. Ooh, sorry, bodged you. And then I will go through these picks. So my first one is by Norfolk Needle Art and it's called Maria Bowthorpe. Now I'm not entirely sure if this is getting released through the normal Nashville channels or whether it's being released through their their own website and their own channels, because I know it's being released on the 23rd of February. So I am going to be purchasing this to stitch because that will be Ness's birthday. So I think it's a nice one to get for Ness's birthday. It is a Valentine's sampler, that's why they've shown it, or it's red, so it could be a Valentine's sampler. But yeah, they're releasing it on Ness's birthday, so I have to get this one. So I'll put a picture of it up here. It's absolutely stunning. There are lots of samplers that people have I wish I owned, and this is one of them. This is one of them, absolutely beautiful. Now, the rest of them, bar one, are Stacey Nash designs. Stacey Nash was my favourite designer from last Nashville, and she's my favourite one again this year. So I'm going to go through a few of these. So we have got Federal Sewing Bag, which I love. She released a similar one last year, which I bought and still haven't stitched, but I still love this one. Mary Robard's Sampler Pocket, I also love. Caroline's Sampler Sewing Bag is also on there. And then she's released some more of the little animal crackers. Now these look slightly smaller than the normal ones. So then she's got Miss May, which is a beautiful little rabbit. And I love the little things that they come with, a little pin cushion or a little scissor fob. Bobbin, which is a little mouse to go on top of a little bobbin. And Miss Hazel, who is a squirrel. So absolutely beyond perfection with those. And then I also liked Straighten Your Crown by Little Robin Designs. So really, really liked that one. Definitely something I'm going to stitch. Before we move on to have a look at a couple of samplers, I'm just going to share with you the freebie. And I can't believe I haven't shared it with you so far this year. It is the Fox and Rabbit stitch along that's running all the way through 2024. You get a different piece each month. And it's kind of a Quaker inspired one again this time. They did a Quaker inspired one, I want to say 3, maybe 4 years ago. I can't quite remember. I'm going to go 3 years ago, which was fabulous. I did start it, but I'd started it, I hadn't chosen the right fabric, and you know, just sometimes you think, no, that one's not for me this year. But this one is beautiful. I haven't started to stitch it, but I might grab certain motifs for certain things. I don't know if I can sneak in another huge sampler. I don't know what's the matter with my pointy finger today. It's pointy. So I'll put a picture up of where, there's another one. I put that one away and another one comes in. I'll put a picture up of where it is at the moment. You can still go back and get January's and February's, and it's basically free for the year. As soon as it goes into 2025, it will be a sampler that you pay for. And that's what's happened to all of the rest as well. So if you want to look back at previous samplers, stitch alongs for the years, you'll find that you can get the patterns as one piece. Right, okay. Now I fished these back out because I mentioned them last week and people are still purchasing them. So I didn't have them with me last week, but I've got them here now because obviously I'm back at home. So this is Complete with Dust, Marianne Kettle, Be Not a Dunce. This is the reproduction that I stitched in black, and literally I've got sky hooks here because I am struggling for space with all the bits and pieces that I have got for the sampler weekend. And this is the original. Much, much bigger, stitched on much coarser fabric with sort of a green, a tealy green. I think I might have said in the chart the colourway. Without looking it back up, I would say it's probably something like 501, no, not 501, that's too dark, 503, 504, something like that. So there is the original. And Mary was 8 when she stitched that. And the other one that I've grabbed to show you is one that I've never showed you before. It's a reasonably recent acquisition, and she's an old one. She's a very old one. 1782, Elener Jarvis work. Now, I bought this for the border. I love the border. I love the rest of it as well, but particularly the border. She's pinned or nailed onto a piece of board. The board at the back has broken, and she's got a few holes. She shows her age, but then she is old. So this is her. Ooh. As you can see, she's on a beautiful yellowy fabric. Now, I don't know about the colours underneath because I haven't gone as far as taking her off the board. That's going to take some dedication and some balls, basically, because she has got some holes. So I will be charting her at some point, but that's as far as I can go with that. I don't know when. So you've got an Adam and Eve in the middle, flanked by two beautiful flowers, and then you've got this border. Now, it reminds me of Forget-Me-Nots and Lily of the Valley, and that's what I kind of think of it as. I have not been able to find anything similar that's got this kind of border, this kind of design. So I don't really know. I've tried to look her up. She spells her name on the sampler quite differently, E-L-E-N-E-R. That doesn't mean that that's how it was actually spelt. That's just kind of the way that she spelt it. So there we go. I would love to know the history of this. Well, I know a little bit of it. I know it actually came out of a Welsh castle, and I can never remember which one, so I will put it across the bottom there. And it was gifted to the person who sold its grandmother, who lived in that castle at the time. But I don't know. It's not Welsh. I don't think it's Welsh. At that age, it would be very difficult to tell the difference between a Welsh and an English sampler. They were just too similar. There was no real, those motifs that you associate with Welsh samplers and the colours and things like that, that didn't come in till much, much later on. So I don't know. I've explored whether she has got some Norfolk connections, because to me there are parts of it that look similar to things I've seen in other Norfolks, but I don't know whether those are indicative of Norfolks or whether they are also just motifs that appeared on Norfolks. There is a difference between those two things. And so I can't wait to see if I can find out a bit more about her. She is really, really finely stitched. It's a very, very fine linen as well, and one which is got a selvage on this edge and a selvage on this edge. So that was the width of the fabric. So the fabric was produced on quite a small loom. So interesting, very interesting. She remains a bit of a mystery at the moment. As I said, I shall be taking her to Stitch in London, the sampler edition. And I've always said to Marie at the beginning of everything we talked about is that I wanted to have lots and lots of antique samplers there for people to look at. There is nothing better than actually looking at the antique. It's all very well seeing the reproduction, but I think you need to see the antique to get the actual flavour of the stitch, to find out more about it. You need to see it in the flesh. And so I am confident that next weekend in that room we are going to have more antique samplers on display for people to actually look closely at than has ever been at a retreat. I'm confident on that. My car, I'm considering whether it's big enough at the moment to fit all the samplers that I want to bring. I know Marie's bringing samplers, and I know that we've also invited those attendees to bring their samplers as well. So yeah, I am confident there are going to be more antique samplers in that room than have ever been on display at a retreat in the UK. So I can't wait to take some pictures, take some video next weekend and really share it all with you. because it's going to be fabulous. It is going to be fabulous. Right, a little tiny bit of haul, really, really small. I received today my third part of the Fabulous House series by Cottage Garden, which I get from Peakside. This is the greenhouse. I was beginning to wonder where it was this month, and it was because I'd forgotten to pay the invoice, which was sat on my PayPal account. So apologies to Peakside. As soon as I paid it, they shipped it. It arrived the following day, but it just snuck in, and I was beginning to think, oh, I wonder where number 3 is. And it does help if you pay for these things first. So that's the greenhouse. It's not folded. It's just a mark on the back. So there's that one. We were very lucky today, actually. While we were out at the cinema, we had quite a few packages delivered today, little bits and bobs that I need for the weekend. And the postman just left them all on the doorstep in the piddling rain. But luckily, everything I'd ordered was either wrapped sufficiently in plastic in the inside to mean that nothing got damaged, which was a miracle, an absolute miracle. But there we go. So there's that. I also picked up this little tin. Good things come in small packages, from the little yarn and needle workshop in Bourton-on-the-Water called the Bourton Basket. And I've been there a couple of times. They've got a few bits and bobs, nothing sort of earth-shattering when it comes to stitching. They've got a lot of nice wool though. They have got a lot of nice wool. But I saw that and I can't resist, you know me, I can't resist a little tin. And just to support them, I bought a couple of extra skeins of 814, which I shall need for Santa of the Forest. And then today, my threads of the month from Lakeside arrived as well. So these are the Classic Colourworks. I'm busy working my way through the alphabet. So these are the 10, I think it's 10 usually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, there's 9 this time, which means that there might be one extra one next time. I think there's normally 10. So let's have a look and see what we've got. So this one is the Joshua tree, which also matches in quite well with my cardigan. Just Rust, which is a fabulous, fabulous orange. Key Largo, wow, look at that. Khaki Mocha, which actually isn't as bright white as it's looking. It does have some sort of darker sections. Lavender Louise, just like a pinky lavender. La Tierra, oh, I like that. That would be brilliant for brickwork. Absolutely brilliant for brickwork. My favourite ever thread for brickwork was from Silks for You in Australia, and I've never been able to find out what it was. I didn't keep the tag. I don't know whether it was a solo or whether it was one that they just don't do anymore. I keep meaning to send her a picture of what I stitched with it and ask her what the thread was, but that is a great one. We've got lemongrass, a lot of greens in this one. Lemon lime. And lastly, lettuce leaf. I'm not sure I've ever seen a lettuce leaf quite that colour, but there we go. There we go. Right, that's it from me. I am heading straight back now to finish off a few more bits for next weekend. As organised as you think you are, these things just always take just that little bit of extra time to get perfect. So I'm hoping to see lots of you next weekend in person, and I'm also hoping that I'll get a little FlossTube out from the venue next week. Stay classy, stitchers.